If you are selling a home or an inherited house in San Francisco this year, you are stepping into a San Francisco real estate market that operates by its own set of rules. And today, I need to talk to you about the five most common San Francisco home seller mistakes that can easily cost you over $100,000 or more. I watch smart, successful people and families lose massive amounts of equity right at the finish line, not because their house was bad, but because they tried to apply standard national real estate logic to San Francisco. Take pricing, for example. In almost any other city, you price a home at what it's worth. If you do that here in San Francisco, you will actively kill your own sale. I'm going to walk you through exactly why that is and the four other mistakes that drain your equity. Stay with me until mistake number 4, because it's the one almost every seller makes when they're trying to protect their money and is the fastest way to trigger a massive buyer renegotiation. Let's protect your equity. Here is the direct answer. The 5 mistakes that cost San Francisco home sellers $100,000 or more are pricing at actual market value instead of using the local underpricing strategy, refusing to cosmetic prep for a buyer pool that demands a finished product, hiring an agent solely because promised the highest list price, hiding known defects in disclosures, and remaining in the home during showings. In San Francisco, the market buyers are high earning professionals who are conditioned to look for a specific aesthetic and a frictionless process. When you break those rules, you don't just get lower offers, you often get no offers at all. And when a home sits on the market here for more than 21 days, the data shows that sellers end up taking massive price reductions, often dipping well below the true value of the home. I'm David Poulsen. My family has lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for 4 generations. I've spent over 30 years in real estate, and I have personally navigated hundreds of sellers through this exact process. Today is about making sure you keep the money you've built up in your home. Counterintuitive to normal logic, break the misconception. Let's start with the big one, the mistake that sounds like absolute common sense until it destroys your sale. David, the house is worth $2 million. Let's just price it at $2 million. In San Francisco, transparent pricing a home at the exact number you want is real estate suicide. Here is how our market here actually functions. In San Francisco, everyone prices 10 to 20% under market. Some even go lower. Value to generate multiple offers if it is an established game and every buyer knows the rules. Because buyers know the rules, they automatically do the math in their heads. And when a buyer sees a home listed for $2 million, they don't think, oh, the seller wants $2 million. They think the seller is playing the 20% game, which means they actually expect $2.4 million. If your home is only worth $2 million and buyers think you are demanding $2.4 million, it suddenly looks wildly overpriced. They won't even come to the open house. They just swipe past it on Zillow. Meanwhile, the buyers who are actually looking for a $2 million home, The ones who would fight for it are looking at homes listed at 1.6 or 1.7 million dollars. You tried to be straightforward and you end up sitting on the market. Day 21 passes, the listing gets stale. By day 30, you are forced to drop the price to 1.85 million just to get attention. Play the San Francisco game, price it 10 to 20% under, create the frenzy, let the buyers push it up to true market value. Remember, you don't have to sell the house if you're not happy with the price. Establish the stakes. Buyers want turnkey and will pay a premium for it. Mistake number 2, refusing to prepare the home because you just want to sell it as is and figure the buyer will do whatever they want with their own renovations anyways. I get the fatigue. The idea of hiring painters and refinishing floors sounds exhausting. But you have to understand exactly who is buying your house in San Francisco today. Today's buyer is a high earning professional. They make an exceptional living at their day job. They work 60 hours a week. What they do not want to be is a weekend project manager. They don't want a project, they want a finished product. When a tech executive walks into a San Francisco home with scuffed floors and a 1990s kitchen, they don't see an opportunity to add their own touch. They see massive headache that takes them away from their career and their free time. That is exactly why buyers in this city will happily pay $1,400 a square foot or more for a finished turnkey product. They're buying their time back. If you refuse to spend $25,000 on a high return on investment, cosmetic preparation, paint, floors, and staging, you will easily lose $100,000 to $150,000 on the final sale price. They will mentally deduct 3 times the actual cost of the work plus a massive hassle penalty. Give them the finished product and they will pay you a premium for it. Okay, we're at the midpoint mark. Conversational, not salesy. I'll pause here for a second. If you're getting ready to sell and you don't know what you should fix and what you should leave alone, you can just call or text me 415-735-6188 or DM me right here in YouTube. I will walk you through your house and tell you exactly what to spend money on to get that premium and what to ignore. No pitch, no pressure. 415-735-6188. All right, let's talk about mistake number 3, because this is where sellers get manipulated. The agent warning: protect the viewer. Mistake number 3 is hiring an agent just because they promised you the highest list price. In the industry, we call this buying the listing. You interview 3 agents. Agent A tells you your home is worth 1.8. Agent B says 1.85. Agent C comes in, wears a nice suit, says, oh, they are undervaluing your home. I can get you 2.1 million. Of course, you want to hire Agent C. They just made you $250,000, except they didn't. They told you what you wanted to hear. To secure the signature on a 6-month listing agreement. Once you sign, they will list it at 2.1 and it will sit empty. Then the phone calls start. The market has shifted. Interest rates ticked up. We need to do a price reduction. They beat you down over 3 months until you sell the house for 1.75 million, less than agent A would have gotten you in week 1, because now you have the stigma of a stale listing. Do not hire a yes man. Hire the agent who can show you the hard data, prove their valuation, and tell you the truth. Choose data and track record over highest promised price. So now on to the developer's eye. Let me put my developer hat on for a minute, because mistake number 4 requires us to look at risk differently. Before I was a realtor, I was a developer. I've built projects up to 48 homes. When you are a developer, you learn very quickly that hiding a problem never makes it cheaper. It only compounds the cost. Mistake number 4 is trying to hide defects or being vague in your seller disclosures. Sellers get terrified that if they disclose the water intrusion in the garage from 3 years ago or the unpermitted deck extension, buyers will run away. So they omit it. Here's the developer reality. The buyer's inspector will find it, and when they find it during the escrow period, 2 things happen. First, you lose all your leverage. Your house is off the market. Your other buyers have moved on. Second, the buyer now feels deceived. Instead of negotiating a reasonable fix, they panic. They demand a $100,000 credit for a problem that would have cost $20,000 to fix beforehand. Or they threaten to cancel the contract. And if they cancel, you go back on the market with a massive red flag on your listing. Disclose everything. If a buyer knows about the leaky garage before they write the offer, they price it into their bid, and they can't ask you for a credit later. Transparency is your armor. As a rule, I tell everyone, always disclose everything. It's the smartest thing to do. The practical friction mistake. Mistake number 5, remaining in the home during the sale process. If you're living in the house while it's on the market, you're costing yourself money, period. When a buyer walks into a home, they need to emotionally take possession of it. If your family photos are on the wall, your dog is barking in the yard, and you're sitting in the kitchen trying to act invisible, they feel like intruders. They rush the tour. They don't look in the closets. Beyond that, occupied homes mean restricted showing times. Please give 24 hours notice. No showings after 5 p.m. In a market where buyers are moving fast, if an agent can't get their client into your house on a Tuesday afternoon, they might just skip it and write an offer on a vacant staged house down the street. Move out, rent an Airbnb. The friction you remove will easily pay you back tenfold in your final sales price. So let's do a quick summary before we wrap this up. Let's recap how you avoid losing $100,000 or more. One, price at 10 to 20% under market value because SF buyers automatically add that margin in their heads. Two, deliver a turnkey finished product to high earning buyers who don't want a project. Three, hire an agent for their strategy and honesty, not their inflated price promises. Four, over disclose everything up front to strip the buyer of their renegotiation power. And five, vacate the property so buyers can actually see themselves living there. Selling a home here is a high stakes game, but it is a winnable game if you follow the rules. So if you're thinking about selling your San Francisco home this year or next year, I will come out, do a full walkthrough, and give you a real data driven valuation at no charge and no obligation. I'll tell you what to fix, what to leave alone, and exactly what your home can command in today's market. I'm David Poulsen, top San Francisco Realtor. My family has lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for generations, and I personally spent over 30 years in real estate navigating this area's unique market cycles and sold hundreds of homes. Call or text me at 415-735-6188. That's 415-735-6188. Or email me at david@sfhothomes.com. That's David at sfhothomes.com. And you can always DM me right here on YouTube. A lot of people do. If you want help buying or selling San Francisco real estate. And remember, I always bring you the straight scoop on San Francisco real estate. It's David Poulsen coming to you live here in San Francisco's inner sunset. And remember, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps the algorithm. And also, look for the link on the 5 tips for sellers down in the description. All right. Bye bye, everyone. Take care.